Okay, so this is the second part of physics chapter 2, measurements and measurement of density, physical quantities and measurement. Okay, there are very similar chapters in class ninth also in physics, and that is measurements and experimentation. So this is physical quantities and its measurements. The physical quantity which we are focusing on is density. See, now we know the formula for density. Density's formula is mass upon volume. So two things which we must know for finding density of a substance, of a solid. We are focusing on finding density of a solid over here. We should know the mass and we should know the volume. Okay. The mass can be measured by physical balance very accurately. You know physical balance? It's just like beam balance. Okay. So physical balance measures the mass, let it be m grams, and we have to find volume by using a measuring cylinder. So what is the volume? How do we find the volume of a solid using measuring cylinder? First thing is you must make sure that the solid must be insoluble in that particular liquid which you are going to fill in the measuring cylinder. So here you see a measuring cylinder and it is filled with water, and you have an irregular solid whose density has to be found out. Maybe a stone, and we know that stone is insoluble in water, right? So we tie a stone with let's say a thread, and then we suspend that stone tied with the thread inside the measuring cylinder such that it is completely submerged. It is completely submerged into the liquid or water of the measuring cylinder, but make sure that it does not touch the sides of the measuring cylinder or the bottom of the measuring cylinder. It should be completely submerged and it should be above the bottom, and in the middle it should not touch any sides of measuring cylinder. Okay, so initially let's say the water's level was 50 centimeter and finally the level of water is 75 centimeter. So what is the difference in level of water? Definitely, if you submerge anything in liquid inside measuring cylinder, the level of the liquid will rise. The level of the liquid will rise, and the difference which you will observe in the level of the liquid is the volume of the solid. Is the volume of the solid. So volume of solid is the difference by which the liquid has risen in the measuring cylinder. The liquid has risen from 50 centimeter cube to 75 centimeter cube, and that's why the difference in level of the liquid initially and finally before and after submerging the stone is 25 centimeter cube, and that is the volume of the unknown solid, irregular solid, 25 centimeter cube. Now using the formula of density is equal to mass upon volume, we can find the density of this irregular solid. Now when you say irregular solid, what do you mean by irregular? Irregular means which has no specific shape, which has no specific shape, no specific shape. But just imagine, for example, if we take a solid which is regular, how will you find its density? See, again, density will be found by using the formula mass upon volume. Here the mass can be found by physical balance, and volume. No need to use measuring cylinder for regular solids, because regular means it has a specific shape. For example, specific shape, regular shape means cuboidal shape. Cuboid. Okay, so cuboid can be used. A cuboid can be used and its density could be found, and the volume of cuboid is length into breadth into height. You might have studied this in some previous classes. Okay, so volume of a regular shaped solid can be found easily using some standard formulae, but if you don't know the formula, then you can every time use a measuring cylinder to find the volume of a substance, and that volume can be used to find the density. Okay, so that is measurement of density using a measuring cylinder. Now there is one more way. You can use a Eureka can. Okay, Eureka can is a special device which is named after a very famous phrase of Archimedes. Okay, so what does this Eureka can do? Eureka can looks like this. It has a spout. If you fill it with liquid, and then any liquid, and then if you suspend an irregular solid in that particular Eureka can, some of the water will be displaced, and this displaced water comes out from a spout. So from the spout, whichever water is getting displaced or coming out, you fill it in a measuring can and measure the amount of water which is flowing out through the spout. That is the amount of water displaced, which is exactly equal to the volume of the submerged solid. So this submerged stone, which is of irregular shape, it has volume equal to the amount of water which is collected in this measuring cylinder, which has flown out through the spout of the Eureka can. So that can also be used to find density of an irregular solid. But see, these are two very easy things. But what we have to focus is on measuring the density of a liquid by using density bottle. So we are going to now understand what are the steps, what is the method of finding density of a liquid by using a density bottle. So what is a density bottle? Density bottle looks like this. It looks like a flat bottom flask. It has a specific capacity, and the capacity of the density bottle which we have been shown over here is 50 milliliter. 50 milliliter is its capacity, which is equal to 50 centimeter cube or 50 cc. Okay, 50 cubic centimeter or 50 milliliter or 50 centimeter cube, it's all the same. Okay, so this is a small glass bottle having a close fitting ground glass stopper at its neck. I think it is a round glass stopper, not ground. Okay, so that's a stopper. Stopper has a small capillary tube. You see there is a small fine gap in the stopper. This gap is given and there is a hole given at the top of the stopper, because if you fill the whole density bottle with some liquid and you close the stopper with the help of if you close the stopper, then all the excess of liquid will flow out through that small you can say capillary you can say tube or capillary gap which is there in the stopper, and the excess of liquid flows out. Okay, when the bottle is completely filled with liquid and stopper is inserted, excess of liquid rises through the capillary tube and drains out. This ensures that the bottle contains equal volume of liquid when filled with different liquids. So you can fill the bottle with water, with kerosene, with oil, with petrol, with alcohol, with glycerine, with any liquid. Okay, but after closing the stopper, every liquid will have the same volume. Every liquid will have the same volume. Okay, now how do we use it? The first step, we have to wash the density bottle with distilled water and dry it in hot air. And we have to make sure there is no drop of any liquid or any water left inside the density bottle. Okay, and then we have to insert the stopper and find the mass of density bottle, okay, on physical balance, and let the mass of empty bottle be m1 grams. Okay, that's the first thing we have noted, mass of empty bottle. Then second step, we have to fill the density bottle with distilled water completely and insert the glass stopper. Okay, this is a glass stopper. Okay, this is not a cork stopper. uh, okay, here they said round glass stopper. Okay, yeah, so it's a glass stopper, and we have to fill the liquid with fill the density bottle with distilled water completely and insert the glass stopper and wipe the water dry from outside and find its mass on physical balance. The second you can say second reading which we have taken is the mass of empty bottle plus water, m2 grams. Okay, now remember here, I'm going to write it again. M1 mass of bottle, M2 mass of bottle plus water. Can you tell me what is mass of water? Only water. Mass of only water is M2 minus M1. Okay, mass of only water is M2 minus M1. See, written over here. Okay, third step. Now pour off the water from the density bottle and dry it in hot air. Make sure all the drops of water which were there in the density bottle are dried completely, and your density bottle is now completely empty. And now fill the density bottle with given liquid. Say kerosene, oil, alcohol, brine solution. Brine solution is salt solution. Okay, and then insert the stopper and wipe the bottle dry from outside and find the mass of density bottle and the liquid on physical balance. Now you have to again fill the bottle with any other liquid. Okay, so I'm going to write here M3 is equal to mass of bottle plus liquid. Now can you tell me what is mass of liquid? Therefore mass of liquid is equal to M3 minus M1, mass of liquid plus bottle minus mass of bottle, that is mass of liquid. Okay, so these are, you can say, the relationships, or you can say the readings or the values which we have obtained so far. Now see, we already know mass of bottle, empty bottle M1, mass of empty bottle plus water M2, mass of empty bottle plus liquid M3, mass of only water M2 minus M1, and mass of water is M2 minus M1. Okay, now hey, wait. Mass of only water is M2 minus M1 and mass of only liquid is M3 minus M1. Okay, that all we know. Now just see this. This is very important. 1 gram of water is 1 centimeter cube. 1 gram of water is how much? It occupies 1 centimeter cube. We have how many grams of water? We have M2 minus M1 grams of water. So we have how much volume of water? We have M2 minus M1 centimeter cube of water. And what is the volume of bottle? That is also equal to the volume of water inside it. That is M2 minus M1 centimeter cube. So we know now the volume of bottle. And do we know the mass of liquid inside it? Yes, we know the mass of liquid. What is it? M3 minus M1. What is the volume of liquid? It is also M2 minus M1 centimeter cube. जितना वाटर होगा उतना ही वॉल्यूम बॉटल का होगा और उतना ही वॉल्यूम लिक्विड का होगा जिसको वो बॉटल में रखेंगे. सो वी नो द वॉल्यूम ऑफ लिक्विड M2 minus M1 centimeter cube, mass of liquid M3 minus M1 grams. So density of that liquid is M3 minus M1 grams upon M2 minus M1 centimeter cube. ठीक है? So if the mass of liquid is 42 grams and volume of liquid is 50 centimeter cube, the density of the liquid becomes 42 upon 50, that is 0.84 gram per centimeter cube. This is how you use density bottle. You take all the readings, you find mass of water, mass of bottle, mass of liquid, and then mass of water equals to the volume of water, which is equal to volume of bottle, which is equal to volume of liquid, and mass of liquid upon volume of liquid gives you the density of the liquid. Okay, so remember the steps of finding uh, you can say volume of a liquid using a density bottle. We will have numericals based on this, and that will do. Okay, what is the next thing? The next thing is, there are some key ideas which we should look at and discuss. Density of solid, hardly changes with rise in temperature by 20 degrees Celsius. But density of liquid and gases change with change in temperature. With rise in temperature, the density of liquids and gases decrease and vice versa. So if you increase the temperature, the density will go down. The liquids and gases will become lighter and they will start rising up, just like hot air. Hot air balloon. The density of hot air is less, and that's why hot air rises up, and that's why balloon floats with hot air, right? Earth has highest density among all the planets in solar system. Its average value is 5514 kilogram per meter cube. Some extra knowledge for you. Okay, convection currents in a liquid or gas is formed due to change in temperature in different layers of them. So convection currents are very important properties of fluids, that is liquids and gases, where you can say that suppose you have a container in which you are heating some liquid. Okay, and there is a liquid which is being heated up. Okay, so this uh, liquid molecules, they will just go up, and which are at bottom, they will get absorb the heat and go up, and the liquid molecules at the top will come down because they become heavier. And this kind of currents continuously keeps on generating inside the liquid. Also in gases, of course, land breeze and sea breeze, they are due to this convection currents. Okay, so that is due to the change in temperature of different layers of liquid when it is heated, or fluid or gas. Anywhere this is happening, convection current. Suppose you have a glass vessel, and you heat the water inside that glass vessel, you can see how the convection current is setting up. Okay, so you can see that. I will share some videos with you which shows that. Okay, so variation of density of liquids and gases with temperature. So, solid, liquid, and gases, they have this common characteristics of expanding on heating and contracting on cooling. But in case of solids, this expansion with rise in temperature and contraction on fall in temperature is very, very small. Very, very so small that it is negligible. Since volume of solid hardly changes with temperature, therefore density of solid hardly changes with temperature. So see, variation of temperature doesn't have much implications on its density. But we can say that in cases of liquids and gases, the uh, change in its density with the change in temperature is very, very you can say significant. Okay, for example, a liquid has volume of 100 centimeter cube, very small amount, and mass of 150 grams at 0 degrees Celsius. So at 100 degrees Celsius, its volume will become 110 centimeter cube, and its density will fall from 1.5 grams per centimeter cube to 1.36 gram per centimeter cube from 0 degree to 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now, what are the consequences of change in density of liquid with temperature? When we heat a liquid in a beaker or any other vessel, then the water close to the bottom of beaker expands, and hence its density decreases. And this light water rises up in the beaker to take the place, and to take its place, the cold water from the top flows down to the base of the beaker, and sort of convection current is set up in the water. This convection currents are responsible for heating the liquid. And for the same reason, liquids are heated in the metallic vessel from below, so that whole mass of the liquid attains the same temperature very quickly. The same thing happens with gases, right? The air around a source of heat, on getting heated, expands. Air expands, which is around the heat source. and its density decreases, and this hot and light air rises up, and to take its place cold air from the surroundings come to that area, and this convection currents makes the it is responsible for the formation of weather, the land breeze, the sea breeze, monsoon, westerlies. These are all formed in the nature because of convection currents. Warm air rising above, cold air taking its place. The same thing which is happening in land breeze and sea breeze. You know what are land breeze and sea breeze? Very easy. Sea breeze is the wind which flows from seaside, from the side of the sea towards the land side during daytime. So what happens during daytime? Sun rises, shines quickly and equally on all the surfaces of land as well as sea. Land gets heated up faster, rapidly as compared with sea water. If the land gets heated up faster, the air above the land rises up. To take the place of air above the land, the air from the sea flows towards the land area, and that is basically sea breeze. Land breeze occurs during the night time. At the night time after sunset, uh, the whole day, sea or any water body or river has absorbed a lot of heat, so it is still warm, but the land cools down quickly. So the air above the sea is still warm, so it rises above, and to take the place of the air above the sea, the cold air from land side flows towards the seaside, right? So that is basically land breeze, which occurs at the night time. And the reason behind formation of this land breeze and sea breeze is convection currents. Convection currents are set up in gases and you can say any fluids, gases and liquids, due to the change in density with temperature. The change in density due to change in temperature, right? So this is the consequences of changes in density. Okay. There is one more important, you can say, extra knowledge which is given over here. Let's discuss. The fishermen set sail for fishing during night because the land breezes rapidly carries them far off in the sea. After casting their nets, they collect the fish in the morning and set sail towards land around 10 a.m. At this time, the sea breeze starts blowing and helps them to reach the land quickly. Very interesting, right? Okay. So, okay, this was today's topic. In the next class, I'm going to teach you about concept of flotation and sinking of a substance, which is related with the density, actually relative density, which we are going to study. And we are going to compare the densities in three states of matter. And also we are going to do some numericals and end this chapter. So one more class will be required for finishing this chapter. So today we studied about the you can say consequences of density, variation of density with change in temperature in weather around us, and also in liquids and gases, and also how to measure the density of a liquid or a solid, irregular or regular, um, by using different instruments like measuring cylinder, eureka can, and density bottle. Okay, so I hope you liked this class, you understood everything whatever I've taught. Please go through the video, take notes, be thorough with the topics which I've already taught you, and be ready for the next class. I'm going to finish this chapter in the next class and give you the homework. And I hope you find all these lectures very, very useful. Best of luck for upcoming test. Bye bye.